everyone. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Hey, today is Panorama, New York Panorama, and some orchestras are warming up right here in Brooklyn Museum. Let's enjoy everyone. This is Pan Alley Steel Orchestra. Hi Brooklyn Creative, hi Lee, hi Jenny Patch. Hi everyone, hi again, welcome. That's fire. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. Pan Alley Orchestra. Local time is 6:16. Panorama starts at 7, but this is behind the scenes. This is outside of Brooklyn Museum area. This is wow, look at this. This is just fascinating. Me too, Danny Paz. This is an experience. That is awesome. This is fascinating fair. Thank you so much, and everybody, hi. Hi, Ori. Good to see you. Hi, Joe T. Thank you, Feria. Hey, Danny Patch again. Hi. RB. Z. Everybody. Wow. I never saw such an orchestra before in my life. I know they of course exist, but this is just unbelievable. This is unbelievable. You know, we cannot stream Panorama because of the copyright, but we can show you before and behind the scenes, right? That we can do. Let's see what's there. Oh, never mind. This is beautiful. If they start playing again, but if they're taking a break, it's hot. If they're taking a break. Let's see what's going on there. Down the line, and then we'll come back if we hear more music. And we hear more music. Do we hear anything much here right now? Not really. they're probably transitioning toward the museum. So let's enjoy more of this orchestra here. Ambrose, welcome back everyone. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. You know, we streamed, of course, we streamed the Junior Carnival today, but I also recorded high definition video in 1 hour of it. We're going to premiere it sooner rather than later. If you want to see it in higher definition, you're more than welcome. Joe T, you are so welcome. Fascinating fireworks last night in Coney Island. We spent more time in Brooklyn than we spent in Manhattan. Oh boy. Wow, this is such a beautiful sound. Oh my God. Penn Alley Steel Orchestra. Joe T, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Joe T. Thank you too. Thank you, Ferry, and thank you, Joe T. Still cans. They sound magical. I hope everything all right with your audio. I hope you are fine. You just get busy with life. We didn't forget about you, and it's always good to see you. Good evening. Actually, good. Almost midnight, right? Thank you so much for being here, everybody. This is the entrance to the venue right there. This is where we were this morning. This is where we were this morning. Afternoon. This is where we were 2 days ago. Big deal. Grounds of Brooklyn Museum. Hi, welcome back. This is Brooklyn Museum. This is the back of Brooklyn Museum. I think it's Washington Street, if I'm not mistaken. I hear the sound there. Let's go take a look. Let's go. Another orchestra. They're working now. They're playing now. So they're warming up, rather. Let's go take a look. But hopefully sooner rather than later they will start warming up. You know, not all of them go to Brooklyn Museum at the same time, which gives us the opportunity to hear that before they enter the competition. The orchestras down this street? Probably not, but let me double check. And then we'll go back And nope, not right there. And then we'll go back. So let's just, wow. Look how many steel pans. You know, when someone calls a steel drum, this is incorrect. This is not the proper terminology. Steel pan. Steel pan. Hey, Trampster. DESPERS USA. This guy's a DESPERS USA. Let me see. I think I have the order in description. Let me see if I did that. Yeah, DESPERS will be 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth in a row. Just look up description. I don't know if there are any orchestras around Brooklyn Museum. If you know, let us know. If anyone knows. This one is Pan Alley. Pan Alley. Pan Alley will be the first one. Wow. I mean, according to the website, to the IG and all that, Pan Alley is scheduled to be. Pan Alley is supposed to be the first one to perform, so nothing's going on at the museum yet. They say 7 o'clock start, but it's 6:48, and I don't know. But that's better for us because we have more opportunity to fluctuate. But where are the other bands? Anybody knows? You know, this is just a warm-up, so we will be back. But I want to see what's going on around the corner. Maybe there's someone there. This is a new experience for us, so we investigate. So let's. I hear the sound. I hear the sound somewhere else. Hear that? Let me cross the street. Over there. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful thing. Wow. So shiny. Look at that. Ooh. Cool. I know what I'm gonna do. Unbelievable. These guys are pan masters. Pan masters. That's the name of this orchestra. And according to the websites, let me see what they are on a list. It's Pan Alley, Pan Evolution. I don't see Pan Masters, but I guess IG gave us the wrong list partially, but that's cool because this is unbelievable. I never heard anything like this in my life. Yet, not at this global proportion. You know, the smaller bands, of course, at the parades, but this is. I'm trying to count 3, 6, 9, 12, 20, 3, 6, 30, 40, like, I don't know, 70, 80 steel pans, plus the drums right there, plus all kinds of things. Wow. I was about to take glasses off, sunglasses. It's no longer sunny, but these balloons, they just blowing into the camera, so this is not helping. So protect the camera. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So now we have 3 points, not so far from each other. Oh, that's beautiful. Why? Because let's go back, and we will. So it's eight orchestras, right? I think 8 or 10, but we saw 3 already. I mean, 2 of them were playing full-blown piece. So let's go back. Maybe the other band right there is warmed enough to play. Wow, this is awesome. Hit the likes, hit the likes. How many likes we have? Seriously, only every 3rd person hit the like button. Take a pause, take this pause, and hit the thumbs up. This is so important, you have no idea. No idea how important. So please hit the likes. It's quiet here. I don't know the logistics of this event, but at some point they have to be relocated into the Brooklyn Museum area, right? They will not be playing outside, will they? No. This is what happens to the audience if this is the case, right? So they're spreading out a little bit, but they're not leaving. And look at this, the drums, the percussion. Yeah, we're celebrating Caribbean culture this weekend. New York Carnival events. No worries, if they're quiet, I'm gonna go back around the corner. I just want to show you as much as possible. Wow, that was fascinating, that whole big piece. They don't break, it's hot. They can't play all the time. They have to rehearse, and then they have to save some energy for the competition. The largest steel pan competition in North America. All these events are the largest in North America. Junior Carnival, and of course on the 1st, Juvet and West Indian American Day Parade. There's no bands there, I don't think. There are any bands on that street. No, Well, oh, maybe no. Why would I say no? No, I'm wrong. There's another one, but they're not playing. But we found another one, or maybe one or two. I remember because I was walking this way and I saw the drums against the wall, and I was like, maybe they will move them, but they will eventually, but not right now. That's the behind the scenes, right? So now, if you only knew which ones are playing, like big time, but I don't know, it all depends on Rados, still Orchestra, Radoes, Rados. So hi everyone. Hi everyone. I can hear you. Hi everyone. Jyoti, Joanne, Odi, Ambrose, RJ, NY. Everybody, A1, Pinko, Sean, Rios, and Sweet Fan. Everybody, welcome. We need likes, actually. Please and thank you. Likes. In the meantime, let's walk around and see what's happening there, because we can only walk around, right? And hear the sound and walk toward the sound. That's what we're doing. And I hear the sound. Where I walked from, I hear the sound now. This is all rehearsal, but nevertheless. Find the hole. Hi Asia. Welcome everyone. welcome, enjoy.
magical sound. OT, you can watch me on Apple Watch. They didn't come up with this kind of Apple Watch yet. But wait a minute, maybe you did. Can you really? Like really? Really? Really?
Let's visit other bands. They're back from break. Thank you, Ori. Don't forget to like though. Interesting. Restores.
hear them playing over there too. Let's see if they're playing. Wow. No, they're still warming up. Okay. Zzz. Back. Beautiful thing. That band, next band. Let's go check them out. They finally put everything together. Oh boy. Which one do I choose? Let's go take a look at that one. Oh man. Don't stop now. Will they give us a piece?
epic. They sound epic. I can't hear myself anymore, but that sound is like divine, really. The gods invented those steel pans. That's the only explanation for that. Wow. These guys are awesome. Like, ooh! I don't know who's gonna win, but they all are over. Oh, let's see what's going on over there. And there's also another one around the corner. So we saw 4. Hi everyone, hey, hey, hey. Happy New York Carnival Labor Day weekend. They're rehearsing, they're warming up for New York Panorama. Later tonight. You're very welcome. Thank you for enjoying. Let's see what's going on around the corner. It's getting darker. Wow. 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 Let's try to get through this crowd. Epic. Minus my hearing. Other than that, absolutely epic. Let's see around the corner if they're still playing there. And then if not, we'll come back. Ooh, it really blocked my hearing, like 50%. That's temporary. Because I don't want you to think we ignored them completely, because we didn't. We just got caught with so much good music. Maybe they will play something for us since we're here. Come on, guys. It's awesome, shiny, still kind stuff. But they're on break, I think. Or they're also saving the energy for later. It's gonna be a long night. We saw them playing before. Amazing. Thank you. Look at this set. Woohoo! Magic in the making. Joyful One, thank you so much. Thank you, Joyful One. Thank you for your support. Thank you for enjoying. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry. If anyone else wants to help us out with amazing donation or contribution, thank you in advance. Thank you so much, Joyful One. Alright, they're on break. Let's see what's going on back there. Wow. This is a new experience for me. How come I never did that before? I don't know. But there's... wow. All right. Hey, look, they left. They left because they're relocating into that area right there. But now the guys are on the corner. Wow, that was quick. Look at the moon. Follow the drums. Still pans. Oh, wow. Breathtaking. 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 Unbelievable. Whew, I can't hear anything. Back there, another band. And there, another one. Where did it come from? Another one right there. Oh boy. But that one is dark. I don't know if they're moving or they're not moving. We'll see. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. I just have wow. That's it. This is my professional opinion. Wow. Breathtaking. I'm not complaining about my eardrums. They're good, they're fun. They adapt to the sound. That's what it is. Shota. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 bands around the block. Or now probably 5. This one moved into the Brooklyn Museum area, I think. And they're moving these drums too, see? But they're in the process of. Let's see what's going on over there. It's right there across the street, so they can just pull it. That's why they disappear so fast. And now they're slowly pushing the other band in there as well. So they are moving in slowly. Let's see what's going on around the block. Let's take a quick walk. Hey, welcome everyone. Brooklyn Museum, back of Brooklyn Museum is right there. The stage is the same stage we saw a couple of nights ago. Same exact location. The greatest band over. That's her name. That's their name. Oh, I hear good evening, ladies and gentlemen, there. If, for whatever miraculous reason, I can't go in there, I will not be able to stream because it's all copyright protected. But maybe I'll record something. We'll see. I don't know yet. But what we're experiencing so far is fantabulous. Copyright in terms of, we don't have rights to stream from there. That's what it is. And we will not. But we can stream behind the scenes, right? Imagine they love what they do, and tonight is the biggest night of their orchestras. Hey, Neil 99, hi again, welcome back. I know you're busy on and off, but that's cool. Please be busy as much as you need, but it's always good to see you. So some orchestras are in transition, some have transitioned, and some are in transition into the Brooklyn Museum area. That's why I just wanted to see what's cooking, and we will go back around this corner, around the other corner, and if they're still playing there, we'll enjoy it. See? Anticipation before the move. Wow, it's very cool behind the scenes. Very cool. DESPERS. DESPERS USA. DESPERS. Joyful One, hi. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm by the Brooklyn Museum, the back of Brooklyn Museum, Prospect Park, that area, Crown Heights. Yes. Excuse me. Thank you. Yes, I think that they are all transitioning slowly. I gave out a bunch of cards earlier today, and sort of bunch right now during this stream, because people want to see themselves, and this is a great souvenir, and we'll take pride in what we do. Stratos. Welcome everyone. Let's see what's going on over there. They're still drumming. They're probably, one of the last bands to perform. That's why. They're behind there. Let's go hear the drums. Bravo. Bravo. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see what's there down there. So I never actually went that far. I think they're in transition to harmony. Yep, they're in transition. Most of the bands are in transition, I think. Yep, they're moving. It's very mobile, very smart, very easy to move. Just showing you. Just showing you. They're ready. They're ready. They're just moving. This is where the parade was. Earlier this morning, this was the final stretch toward Brooklyn Museum. Right here. Remember? How the street changed real quick. Welcome everyone. We are behind the scenes of New York Panorama. The ultimate showdown of the Steelband Orchestras. A part of New York Carnival Celebration 2025.
pass on the message. Kind of risk. Let's stay. Back, wow. Every time, let's stay. Back, right? What I want especially that last one, very important.
Wow. I hope they will maybe play something else before they will get. Oh, look at that. These guys moved. These guys are moved. So these guys might be next. I hear the drums, but I don't know where the drums are coming from right now. Are they coming from the stage? Perhaps. Perhaps. Yep, they're probably performing already. Or maybe not. I hear it around the corner. Maybe it's still around the corner. Hard to tell. Probably around the corner. So let's go grab it. Those kids are great, you know, they play like at the adult level, at the professional level. They're playing in transition into the museum.
Other bands, other bands, other bands. DESPERS USA.
This should be a good alarm. Wow, epic, epic. I think they're perfect, but they're still perfected. I'm just showing you how many people here because you know when you just stand there, you don't see anything, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Thank you. Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. Wow, it's so awesome. These guys are like, I don't even know who's gonna win, but they all are off the hook. To me, they're all perfect. Like what we heard so far today, oh my gosh. RJ, we will see you later. Hi Paulina. Hi Neon again. Hi Orange Street. Delight Loves Movies. Coffee Mama. DC. Hi, 1,200 beautiful people. I think the personnel is telling them that this is their turn to start moving. So we will see. We will be here for a moment. I'm not going anywhere. Sorry, not going anywhere yet. What? Oh my God!
You gotta start moving in.
Yeah, gotta start moving in. Gotta start moving in. So the guys gotta wrap it up and move it in. So this is the word from the personnel, from the staff. So, oh my God. 3 hours of beautiful steel band orchestras warming up. Is there anyone there left around the corner? Let me check it in. Wow. You know what? It's maybe not all, but same pieces that will be playing there on stage, except for we saw them up close and personal, and this is pretty much exactly the same thing, except for they will be on stage and judged by a lot of people and a huge audience. So I think there is a band right there. I see it's still pans, but I think they're in a position to move as well. Let me just make sure. Double check. If this is it for now, if this is the end of the rehearsal, we will maybe go through the gate if we can. If we cannot, we cannot. There's zero expectations whatsoever. But if we will, we're not going to stream. I just want to show you around there. Let's see. But maybe they will still be playing a little bit. No, I think they are in transition stage. This band and the band behind. What time they start playing on stage? What time they start playing on stage?
It started already.
It started already?
Yeah.
All right.
Fun is number 5.
Thank you.
What number you guys play? What number you guys play?
6. Got it. Thank you. Harmony is number 6. little bit longer.
You think we did enough for the day? I'm not sure. If you think so, I don't know. All I know is we streamed 10 hours so far total, between the first stream 7 hours and this stream 3 so far. So we had a long shift with lunch break. But I will see if we can just briefly show you around. Well, first let's give it a minute. Maybe they will still play a little bit, because this will be our first choice so far. So we'll be around here for a couple of minutes, see if they will play anything else. I think they're mobile. Oh, maybe they're moving too. Well, slightly, ever so slightly. New 99 hours, 45 minutes left till midnight. Oh boy. You think I'm I have like a perpetual engine in my body? Not really. But so much energy, they just charged up my batteries, that's for sure. .007, what do you think? Where are you watching us from? Hello, 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 007. Stirred, not shaken. Stirred, not shaken. Heineken, please. Stirred, not shaken. New generation play again. I hope so. I hope so. That would be awesome. But I don't see anyone up here. So perhaps they're transitioning too. Mosquitoes. I don't know if they will be playing here anymore. At this point, they're just idle. Harmony will be playing day number 6 on the list.
generation, and you're welcome. 9:22. The bands are playing on stage, apparently, but these bands were playing for us on the ground, on the streets of Brooklyn, near Brooklyn Museum. Local time in New York is 9:22. West Coast one? Yeah. Oh, I didn't even look at the plate. Yes. This one is Indiana plate, but you know, there could be just trucks being rented and going all over the country. Oh boy. Mosquitoes, spiders. See, they're transitioning too. Good luck to all of them. They're all amazing. They are all amazing. They're going out. Maybe they're finished. Yeah, maybe they're finished. Yeah, look at that. They were the first ones we saw. They were the first ones who went in. So they are now done. All right. So we're done. We cannot go inside. I don't even know if I can, but even if I could, we cannot because everything inside right now is copyright. So we're not going to get in trouble for no reason, right? This is President Street and Classen Avenue in, I believe this is either Prospect Heights or Crown Heights. I think it's Crown Heights. Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Wow, the whole day in Crown Heights, Brooklyn today. Oh my God. We are Brooklyn. Bum, 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 bum. Thank you, our amazing moderators, Neo99, Ambrose, Audie, NY, Noble Sweetness, Sunshine Vibes, Austin City Limits. Did I say NY? Yes. Thank you. You are awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. If you didn't subscribe to our channel, please subscribe. We are nice. Ask our chat if you don't believe me. My name is Al. My wife's name is Delilah. We are running this channel together, Live Work in NYC, and we invite you to subscribe. If you did, thank you, and you're welcome. And if you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe before you go. More festivities are coming this weekend and beyond. It's Christmas and beyond. So it just goes on and on and on, and sometimes we just explore the city. So we invite you to explore it together with us. Hit the like if you didn't yet on the way out, because the likes will work even if the stream is over. And of course, let other people know through social media about this channel. Share on your social media with your friends and family. Thank you so much, and thank you, my fellow mods, for all your hard work. Everybody here who's chatting, thank you for chatting and thank you for being here. Those who are not chatting, we know you're watching. I hope you all enjoying it. Hope. Even if you don't, thank you for being here. We love you all. We wish you all fantastic rest of the day or the beginning of a new one. Stay happy, stay healthy. Take a good care of your loved ones, and if you feeling kind of watch the stream again. Hopefully it will give you energy, and you know, you will overcome whatever you need to overcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you again later. We will see you again sooner rather than later. Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams, and bye-bye. We will see you soon.